Good evening and welcome. I wanted to make sure my mic wasn't muted. We just had that discussion and I had to take a peek. I want to thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate minority small businesses. You're the heart and soul of so many of our communities across the Valley. I was reading an article yesterday, and I don't know if you know this or not, but 9.2 million minority business enterprises support jobs and generate more than $1.8 trillion for our economy in the United States every year. Incredible, and I love it. Minority-owned businesses are critical, and it's why we're here tonight to celebrate. It happens to be Minority Enterprise Week, and so we're just excited to play a part in that and just feel blessed to be here with you. We have a pretty awesome lineup tonight with us. I want to thank so many of you for coming. I love seeing Lisa in here, and Laura and Vivian and Yvonne. Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you for coming. And we have some incredible entrepreneurs who's going to be chatting with us tonight. The entrepreneurs here consistently demonstrate courage that it takes to overcome adversity, and they seize opportunity and contribute to our local economy. And one of my favorite things about small businesses is the way that they enhance the livability of our communities. We love visiting our small businesses and shopping. And thank you, entrepreneurs, for being with us tonight. We're going to introduce them here shortly. I just feel honored to be part of it and be able to hear the conversations happening tonight. But before we begin, I want to thank our presenting sponsor for tonight, and it's United Way of Roanoke Valley. We've become close partners in a mission to make entrepreneurship more accessible and to ensure that existing small business owners have the resources and training that they need to succeed. So folks, I want to introduce you to Abby Hamilton. She is the president and CEO of United Way Roanoke Valley, and we have such fun together. She brings the energy. We love to ruffle feathers and make up rules as we go, and I'm so excited to have her here tonight. Abby, thanks for being with us. I'm going to turn it over for you for a second.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. Thanks to all of our friends at the Roanoke Regional SBDC, Heather, and all of you, our panelists, for joining in this incredible opportunity to celebrate. And we at United Way, our team, our board, are all very, very excited and truly honored to be part of this year's celebration and to be able to highlight, Amanda, like you said, the incredible leadership and the value that our small businesses and our small business minority leaders specifically are bringing to the table. And so you're probably asking, so what has United Way got to do with all of this stuff? It kind of seems very like I'm not related at all. Well, it actually is very related. United Way's business is really about building to fruition our vision of elevating 10,000 families to self-sufficiency by 2030 here in our region. And when we look at that very audacious goal, one of the things that we think about is how do we create pathways for individuals and families to prosper? And certainly there are two things that we know about what's happening in our community. One, that minorities were disproportionately impacted by the pandemic. And number two, minority-owned small businesses were also disproportionately impacted within the economics of the pandemic. And so to me, we cannot look at a vision for creating self-sufficiency without including an opportunity for people to carve their own path, to be their own boss, right? It's not limited to being just a worker somewhere. We want to be able to give people the foundation and be able to bring the partners together that will inspire them, that will provide them the support and give them the guiding light to be the leaders that they are meant to be in this community. And so small businesses and minority-owned small businesses in particular are both a byproduct of this and also a great asset in this work that United Way is doing. So I'm totally psyched. I'm excited to hear the panel. So Amanda and Alicia, thanks again for the opportunity to partner with you to bring this incredible topic to the public, and I'll turn it over to you and Alicia.
Abby, we appreciate you and thank you so much. And thank you to United Way for making this possible and being a leader in the community. being here to celebrate. So thank you. All right, y'all, I have someone special to introduce you to. I met this passionate woman a few years ago as a client at the Small Business Development Center. I want to say I was in my first few months here with the organization, and I met her. And she blew me away then, and she continues to blow me away now. I've watched her efforts in the community, and now it's my pleasure to be able to work with her. I never thought that that would happen, but you never know when you put heads together what you can make happen. So Alicia Childress, hello. She's joining us tonight as our host, and I cannot express how much her work over the last 6 months has impacted our region already. She's been researching, talking with business owners, surveying, collaborating, and bringing community partners to the table, like United Way, to make sure minority business owners have equitable services, resources, and their voices are heard in the community, and entrepreneurship opportunities are available to everyone. So because of her work, we have a better understanding of what we at the Small Business Development Center need to do, what those needs are in the community, the solutions that we need to get on the table, and the challenges that everyone's facing. And we have a really exciting year ahead of us, thanks to Alicia. So thank you, Alicia, for bringing your talent to the highest level in the community so that businesses like those with us tonight can benefit and are supported more than anything. And I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce our guest for the panel discussion tonight.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you to the SBDC team here in the Roanoke area, as well as United Way. It is my pleasure to serve you all tonight as a host to introduce our panelists. I am really excited. I'm so eager to hear what these lovely folks have to say. So I'm just going to jump right into it and go along, and then we'll just start to popcorn some questions and see what everyone has to say. So first, I'm just going to start off. We've got Miss Kat Pascal with us. Miss Kat is the co-owner of Spotless America and co-owner of Hamburguesa, Nuestro Comercio, and the Latinas Network. Thank you, Kat, for being here this evening. We also have Mr. Xavier Duckett. He is the founder and CEO of Humble Hustle Company, which is a nonprofit, but also he is the owner of Imagine Me Mentoring, Humble Hustle Clothing, and Xavier Tremaine Creative Consulting. We also have Pritesh Patel with us this evening. Mr. Patel is the owner of OMA Management. We have Mr. Quincy Randolph, who is the owner of R&D Coffee and the newest vegan ice cream place, Creme Fraiche. And that is our panel for the evening. So I just want to say thank you. I think I get everybody. I'm sorry. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry. We have Hisham. Mr. Hisham, you guys, if you haven't been, he'll tell you more about it. Roanoke Grocery Market. He is the owner there on Melrose. So those are our 5 panels that we have this evening. And without further ado, we're just going to go right into this. If each of you can share, and we'll start with Kat, just a little bit more about your businesses and just kind of your elevator pitch, and let us know how you all are serving and working with your community.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kat Pascal. I am the co-owner of Hamburguesa. It's a restaurant here in Roanoke, and I've got a location in Benton as well. We source locally as we can, and we partner with local nonprofits, and we try to stay as fully engaged with our community. So you eat a nice burger, but it's really much more than that because we're community oriented. I have a commercial cleaning company that I've had for 11 years now. That's Spotless America. And Latinas Network is the newest venture as a nonprofit with 6 board members. And we are tailored to professionally networking with the Latinas in the community, the supporters, and the allies. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Kat. All right, Mr. Xavier Duckett.
Hello, everyone. I appreciate the invite. My name is Xavier Duckett. I own the Humble Hustle Company. It is a nonprofit organization that works to empower, expose, and educate youth in the Roanoke Valley by way of creative and innovative programming. I also own Humble Hustle Clothing. It's an urban streetwear brand that provides that creative niche that some people are looking for in Roanoke, and allows kids to get involved as well within the designing world. The last thing I do is Imagine Me Mentoring, and that is a at-risk youth mentoring program that is based in Roanoke City Schools, also in community as well with after-school programs and community organizations.
Thank you, Xavier.
Absolutely.
Mr. Kitesh Patel.
Good evening, everybody. And thank you for inviting to the panel discussion for small business. My name is Kritesh Patel, and I'm CEO of the OMA Management. With OMA Management, we do multiple businesses, starting with pharmacy. We have 2 pharmacies in Salem, a psychiatry office in Salem. We developed and creates hotels and then operates them. We also have convenience stores, and we also do the leasing of real estates. And beside that, I serve in a Richfield board as a chairman, served in EDA, also a First Bank as a board of director, and in United Way, I just joined them as a board of director. Love the community. It's the best place to live in Roanoke Valley, and I'm just excited to be here and excited to be on the panel.
Thank you, Kritesh. Quincy Randolph.
Hello, my name, sorry. Hello, my name is Quincy Randolph. I'm the chef owner of R&D Coffee and the newly opened Creme Fraiche non-dairy ice cream. I started R&D with my brother, who is now joined the United States military, but we are partners in that venture. And I am a chef. I have 10 years of culinary experience, so I often collaborate with other restaurants in town, other chefs in town for pop-ups, events, things of that nature. And then my newest business, Creme Fraiche, is actually a collaboration between myself and Chef Nate Sloan, who owns Bloom in the Wasena neighborhood. So very much focused on craft, community, and keeping things local.
Thank you, Quincy. All right, Hisham.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Thank you for the invitation. I'm the owner of Roanoke Grocery Market. We're mainly focusing on food, Mediterranean and Asian, and basically food from all over the world. We have over 1,100 items of grocery in our store, and we're striving to get even more to be able to represent basically every culture in the store. We've been in business for a few months, but honestly, the response has been great, and we're looking forward to serve the Roanoke community.
Thank you so much for your introductions and your brief bios for everyone. And now I have a question. The first question is going to go to Mr. Quincy Randolph. As a minority business owner, what have been some of the challenges and opportunities that you have faced?
I think for me, some of the challenges specifically as a minority business owner is actually kind of proving to people that I know what I'm doing. You know, not that the people of Roanoke have been against us from the start or by any means, but you know, fine dining and also even coffee to most people, although, you know, of course, there's tons of roots in Africa and, you know, Asia, South America, other minority-based countries, it's not generally seen as a minority business. You know, a lot of people associate coffee with, you know, Europe and Italy, and then kind of translating that into Starbucks and generally speaking, kind of like more affluent Caucasian culture at a higher level. So just kind of, you know, one, showing that, you know, everybody, tons of people drink coffee, and it's not just about the coffee in the cup, but more about the community and the hospitality that's being fostered is the, you know, primary focus. And then also just showcasing that my brother and I have more than, you know, a wealth of experience to be considered experts in that field. Was kind of a bit of a a struggle for us starting out. We kind of very much had to kind of prove our expertise before I felt like we were readily accepted by the community.
Thank you so much. I love that perspective. And I think it's definitely something that our panelists would agree with. And so I'm going to ask the same question to Mr. Kurtesh. Please let us know what have been some of the challenges and opportunities that you've experienced as a minority business owner.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him because that's one of the challenges, the first impressions that can they do it? But the challenge is sometimes it's yourself, because sometimes we have a mindset that we make the challenges that doesn't exist in many cases. And when you go out and actually pursue it, you find out that it's what we consider challenge was not a challenge, but we thought it was a challenge. Challenges, depending on what business you try to do, but initial challenge was, my first challenge was that nobody would hold my hand to do the business. So the initial phase was very difficult. I have reached out to minority business owners and also the non-minority business owners to ask to hold my hand and get into, especially when you try to get into the Marriott or Hilton kind of franchise, you need to have some assets and some credibility. And it took me actually 10 years to do that, my own. So one of the things I learned is that if I had some mentor who have hold my hand to just carry along with them, just begin with, that would be easier. That was first challenge. The second challenge is to go to bank without having assets to buy something. And for bank to believe in you, that's another challenge. For me, it was easy a little bit because by trade, I'm a pharmacist and I had a stable job. So I can, some, but not a big level of it. But I see those challenges every single day with the business owners. How do I start? Or third challenge that I had personally is to leave my job. And it was personal challenge, but it was kind of golden handcuff that I had. I had a very nice job, high paying job, and I had to leave that job to start something that was not even sure gonna make my mortgage. And my first son was about to be born, and that time I had to leave. So the family really supported, saying, hey, you know what, go do what you gotta do. If you have to go back 10 years back and live in an apartment, we'll do it. And so those are the challenges that I see more of a self and mindset challenge, that how do you overcome with the family and personally.
Thank you, Kurtesh. Again, great points. And you reminded me, you talked about kind of going from, this place of stability, to kind of a place of, the other, either unfamiliar or, you don't have that security blanket, what that looks like. And your story really reminds me of, and I'm going to pitch this right over to Mr. Xavier Duckett, because I'm so impressed with this young man and his ability to really just jump into these different diverse businesses and the way he's navigated and made connections. So Xavier, I would love for you to be able to provide some insight here too of what these challenges have been for you as you ventured into the art sector, the education piece, the mentoring. What does that look like for you?
I'd have to agree with both speakers that what they said. Proving yourself, being young, for myself being a young African-American male, coming back from college in a community that has never seen those things be done. You're truly like busting the door down and walking into a burning house. And you have to understand that, I speak about being uncomfortable a lot. It's going to be extremely uncomfortable because they've never seen what your idea or your concept. But I think proving yourself is the biggest thing here, and constantly being transparent with your community, and gaining that trust of your community, because that's a thing as well, as the community has never seen that before. So getting them to buy in takes a while, and you have to truly know to yourself that it's going to work. So that if you don't believe it, then they're never going to believe you. So I had this wild dream, and I believed in myself that much, that people believed in me as well, and they believed in the mission that I was driving for. And then once you start to prove it, and you're consistent with it, and you're transparent, and they see you in the community, and you're vocal and you're fighting for the same people that you're, the same people in that community, it begins this snowball effect. And if I can do it, then that allows someone else that's had that same idea. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna try something too. And then somebody else is like, you know what, I'm gonna try something too. And it just creates this snowball effect of small businesses that truly just believe in themselves and they just want to break the mold. And I think that's what we have, right here. So those are some of the challenges I face. I think we face challenges every day though, whether it's resources, whether it's, COVID. Just the everyday battle of getting up, knowing that you don't have a security blanket and that you put everything on this. I don't have a 9 to 5 to fall back on. This has to work. I've completely sold out for it. So some would say I'm probably pretty crazy because I believe in myself that much, but I think any small business owner has that conception and that idea that this has to work.
Well, I don't think you're crazy. I think you're brilliant, and I'm thankful to know you and to have you as an asset and a resource here in the Roanoke area. And I'm pretty sure other people I see are very appreciative. So thank you very much. And you talked a lot about community just now and being an example and an inspiration to other aspiring business owners. And so this is perfect. I think a lot about Kat right now and what she's doing. So Kat, I would love for you to give us some information and insight on how you've positioned yourself to receive and engage with your community.
There's a lot of things to do when you're wanting to engage a large community. And what I found myself doing on purpose and conscientiously was going into ecosystems like Virginia Western, or going into entrepreneurial ecosystems and diving deep into those networking groups so that I could start to gain trust, start to let people know who I was and who I am. And finding myself in front of the people that I wanted to be around, people that were aligned with business, people that were aligned morally. And so I had to figure out quickly who it was that I wanted to be and how I was going to get there. So by strategically planning where I was going to put my time and prioritize my time, I was finding myself in front of the right people. That's
I love it.
A lot.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. And can you share with us a little bit about the Latinas Network and what that looks like for being an example and helping other aspiring or existing small businesses?
Latinas Network started in November of last year, and this is in the midst of COVID and us being locked up and having to quarantine and things. So I have always had a passion for where I'm from. I'm a proud Latina. I'm born and raised here in Roanoke. Both of my parents came from Colombia, South America. That makes me a second-generation immigrant. So I had a very small network of Latino or Hispanic community members. But as I've grown up in the area, in different businesses, different ecosystems, you find that there are Hispanic and Latinos being represented in those networking groups or those groups. So I have had this fire burning in my stomach of, I want us all to get together. I want us all to have representation, not be the same representation in all of the meetings. We need more women to start showing up. And so Latinas Network was born. And fortunately, now we have over 300 members within Latinas Network. So that means 300 women that are doing some really phenomenal things in the area are now getting together. And can you imagine what happens after all of these brilliant minds get together? Really awesome things.
Great. Thank you for sharing and educating us and letting us know about this wonderful group. All right, y'all, this is the time. This is my favorite part. I'm all about best practices and sharing tips. I want to know, and I'm pretty sure our listeners want to know, what's working? What are some of the things that you would want to tell your younger self, tell the new aspiring entrepreneur, the person that's still in the game right now existing, but trying to get above that hump and go to the next level? If you can share some of your best practices and tips with us, that would be great. So I'm gonna kick this over to Hisham first, and you can let us know what's working for you all.
Well, any idea, just wanted to say something about the experience that we've been having here in Roanoke. Any new idea is always a challenge to introduce it to people and to see how they're going to react to it. They're going to accept it. They're going to like it. And honestly, the response from our community has been great. We have been educating a lot of people when they come to the store about the food and the type of food that we introduce, and we're showing them the differences between the other food, like at other fast food places, and what we do here at the Roanoke Grocery Market. So it's been really a great experience for me to connect with our community and to educate them, and to be able to work with children, to work with autistic children. My passion is honestly to support autism research, and that's why we're always striving to support autism as much as we can. That's why we dedicated 5% of the proceed of the store to go to support autism research. And we also connected with the community by feeding the homeless once a month. And now we're trying to gather more of the small businesses owner to work with us, so we can even give more and more. The target for me is really to have most of the businesses pitch in, so they can do at least like once a week or maybe twice a week to feed the homeless. We arrange that with the city government officials, and we've been working with a lot of shelters to be able to serve the meals every month, and the response has been great. In our business as a Mediterranean grocery market, we have over 1,100 items, and we're trying to show show the people what we have. And in order for us to do that, we have to rely on technology, and the technology has been great by using Instagram to really spread our word all over Roanoke. So we've been receiving people from all over, from Rocky Mountain, from Blacksburg, Christianburg. So it's been a great great experience for us. So I'm very proud of what we have been doing, and I'm honestly looking to connect more with the minority business leaders in the city of Roanoke. So maybe putting all our ideas together, maybe that would benefit the city of Roanoke altogether.
Great, thank you for that. And we have a nice little plug later on to talk about how we can come together and continue this conversation and the work. I just definitely want to highlight this. You all, if you haven't checked out the Roanoke Grocery Market, please do, but check out their Instagram, their social medias. You talk about some best tips and practices. Their pictures, their photos, it's phenomenal. So I just want to give you a kudos and just share that's something that works well at the marketing piece, right? So you've got someone within your organization, your business, that is really good with the camera and captions and all things social. Definitely invest in those resources to get that job done. All right, I'm going to ask the same question. Best practices, tips. Xavier, go.
Best practices. I think it's gonna be different for everybody, because everybody's business is different. But for me, kind of like Hisham said, Instagram, understanding the free marketing that's out there. Facebook and Instagram are completely free, so you can never have an excuse for not marketing yourself. I've made myself, I've kind of got in front of the business and shown myself. And so if people, they see me and they say, okay, I want to work with him, and here's what he has to offer. So I've kind of allowed my face to be in front of the business, being that I'm from the community, I'm in the community, I'm seen in the community. Another best tip is just I would say, as an entrepreneur, small business, if you don't have it, you got to do it. If you don't have, if you don't have the resources to hire it, then you have to do it. And that's that sacrificial part of just owning a business, and understanding that if you really want it to get done, you're going to do it. Get involved in unfamiliar spaces. That allows your business to grow even more, and allows your name to continue to float. in different rooms. And don't be afraid to market yourself. Have those conversations, highlight yourself in whatever room you're in, and allow your, like I said, allow your name to kind of float into different rooms as you get, as you're trying to grow your business. It's tough because every business is different. So my best practices are going to be completely different than Hisham's at a grocery store, but I would just say, stay creative and find whatever works for you, but just don't quit. I think that's the biggest thing. It's just, if you don't quit, you can really see what your dream has for you.
That's great. Don't quit. Y'all heard him. All
Yeah.
right. Quincy, what about you? What have been some best tips as far as getting the business started and things that have helped you with sales and just being creative in everything that you do?
Yeah, so like Xavier was saying, it's very much dependent on what your business is. For me, my whole adult life has been in the hospitality industry, and kind of what I've seen and learned comes in kind of two major tips. I think one that especially restaurants kind of forget is that it is a business. So you really need to develop a brand. I think great product should be assumed, right? No matter whatever your product is, hospitality, retail, that's like a baseline. But I've found that a lot of like restaurants and things of that nature kind of forget that in this day and age. Like, everything's online, reviews are very popular. You kind of have to lean into trends to a degree. So establishing a brand is very important. Sorry. And then on the human side of things, I think being genuine goes a very long way. For the first 18 months that R&D was open, you literally could not go there on a day we were open without seeing either my brother or I, and usually we were both there. One, that's the small business side of, kind of like if nobody else is there to do it, you have to do it. So we were working tons of hours. But the flip side of that is, hospitality and connecting with, guests is very big for us. And something I've extended to the team is that, we don't have customers, we have guests, and that kind of comes from my fine dining background. And I wanted that to be true to Forum. So I wanted to be there connecting with, almost every person who came through the door, and then also showing my team how I wanted them to connect with people. And I think, all of our regulars really felt that genuineness. And now, even though I'm there much less as far as like behind the counter or whatnot, that mindset and that culture is still there. And I think it really resonates with the people who come into our businesses.
Yeah, thank you. You're right. And I remember seeing, I still see your face when I come into R&D. So thank you for just that consistency, being persistent, and it's working. So thank you for sharing that best practice. Kritesh, what about you?
Hold on a second, I got it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was sure if I was mute or mute. To me, the number one thing that sometimes we forget as a small owner business, that we have to work in the business. But what I found is that majority of the business who open, 80% fail because they don't work on the business. What I mean by that is when I opened my pharmacy, I was asked, hey, why don't you work as a pharmacist inside? Because you will save $150,000 on a payroll. And I would have done that. But if I had done that, I was stuck with one business and just working on that. Also you need to plan, because you need resources. So you need to have a business plan that give you first years of operations resources. So then you can go back and work on your business to make it successful, and then you can multiply that. But you have to be present, like he was saying in hospitality. You cannot just not be at the location. Just don't work in the business, just work on the business is the key. Second, I also think constantly read. A lot of books available that have done thousands and thousands of research outlier, and those books really help you think differently. Reading is must. I think that. Other tip is to make sure that you always know your priority, which is faith and family. You do this business to make this work other side. And if you forget that, then you don't have the joy that you should have owning a business that goes away. So just make sure that you don't get consumed by your own businesses. And that's my tip, that if I do it again, I will make sure that all these steps are made. I learned them by by mistake, by making mistakes. I'm learning those steps. And I think the new minority business owner, or even a non-minority business owner, needs to know these things. Do some research. Just because you know how to make good cookies, that doesn't mean you're going to have a great business to sell cookies. There's a lot more involved behind the door to make that work. Like the other guy says about Quincy, is about starting a brand. How do you make it differentiate yourself than other people who sell the cookies? Are you ready to work hard as you think? Because 9-to-5 job is great. This is 24/7, and you have to lose money and time. So all that has to be discussed and understand beforehand. And then when you're ready, then jump. Then just all or none business. Either you're pregnant or you're not pregnant. And if you jump on it, then I guarantee you'll be successful.
Thank you so much. You brought up so many great points. One, work-life balance, so important, and remembering, why you got into it and trying to figure out what that looks like for you. And then the second thing, and a great segue, is about tapping into resources. So there's a lot of different local and regional resources that are available in this area. And so I would love to know, how have you tapped into resources in our region as a small business owner? Kat, are you ready to answer that?
Yeah, so a little bit kind of just feeding off the last question. I mean, really finding and leveraging the ecosystems that I was aligned with and needed information from or resources from. So some of those resources, when I first started 11 years ago, the Business Lounge was one of them, the Small Business Development Center being another, with Tom Tanner. I'm sure everybody here knows who Tom Tanner, and we should clone him. But he was a great resource to begin with. Somebody who gave us very good advice from the beginning. Get yourself an accountant from the get-go. Get yourself a great insurance person. And also you probably want to have some type of lawyer, at least on speed dial. So, I mean, at some point you have to be looking at those resources that are free and available to you because you're wanting to grow your business. Virginia Western was also another great resource for me, diving into their entrepreneurial programs and looking at their classes and workshops that they had available as an entrepreneur. One of the topics or the tips that the gentleman just gave was getting yourself ready. As minority business owners, we have to realize that we do have external barriers as we're growing our businesses. So if we're getting ourselves ready for those by educating ourselves and knowing what those numbers look like statistically for minorities, then we're better prepared to go into bat for our businesses. So those are just some of the resources I've leveraged and continue to leverage throughout my entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you, Kat. Hishan, what about you? What kind of, or not necessarily what kind of, but how have you tapped into resources as a minority business owner?
Well, it's in the grocery market, it's a little bit different, maybe than other different industries. We rely so much on finding the right products for our customers here in the city of Roanoke. And most of our resources are basically very, very limited are here in Roanoke. However, most of them are outside of the city of Roanoke. So what we do is that, we utilize our forces to be able to travel to different cities to be able to go and get everything to support the store, to support the community, and to be able to provide everything that we need here at the store. However, the city of Roanoke has been great, honestly, in supporting us and putting us on the right track to work with them and to work with the city and to work also with our community. They have introduced us through their website to most of the minorities that come basically from Asia, the Middle East, and the Far East. And the response has been great by noticing people coming every day, new faces to the store. Yet we have a lot of the locals in the city of Roanoke who come just to discover and to find out exactly what we stand for. by coming here, a lot of them, they share a lot of the information that they have. And a lot of them introduced us to different associations that assist small businesses. And it's been really great for us. It's been going from one step to another. One thing I really wanted to say is that the idea of Roanoke Grocery Market was born when I was sipping coffee at Quincy's coffee shop. And I discussed that with him. It's been almost just maybe 6 months before COVID started. And I had the building, but I did not really start working on it. And we spoke about it, but I think, because we haven't seen each other for that time, then we did not really connect. However, I want to say one of the resources is really Quincy's coffee shop that supports me in becoming who I am today. So thank you, Quincy, for everything. But honestly, everything that the customers have shared with us, the city, the media, your program has been really a great tool to assist our business.
Thank you. And you are so right. R&D, I don't care who I'm talking with, who I'm trying to meet with. They're like, all right, let's just meet at R&D. And I mean, you will find everybody in this room probably in there and having multiple sessions and meetings, just hanging out and getting work done. So thank you, Quincy.
Well, I just want to say I remember those times, very fondly, kind of before the COVID craziness started, and yeah, we would have extensive conversations, especially, also credit to my brother, because I know that you all would also talk at length, almost sometimes to the point where I was like, all right, Stefan, well, I got to start closing down the store. You keep, but that was just what we like to do, especially, before we were thinking about, mask and not touching this and sanitizing that and having a few seats at the bar. It makes me really happy to hear that, because that's really what we wanted R&D to be, was just a gathering place where all kinds of people could come and sit and, talk about whatever was going on. So, of course, thank you for coming by. I appreciate everyone who comes by, and then that story really warms my heart, and I'll be sure to call Stefan later today and tell him about it. So.
Awesome. Great. The next question that we have is, how have you unapologetically told your story? And I'm going to pitch this first question to Xavier, because he's got an amazing partnership that's going on right now and a really cool event going on this weekend. And I want to give you this opportunity to tell us how you're telling that story.
So I guess how have I unapologetically told my story? When I read the question, it was like, I don't really think I've fully told the story. I think, like Quincy said, just being genuine, and when you know your purpose, you know that you're aligned in whatever you do and whatever you set forth to do, it just kind of tells itself. And people have been able to see my authentic self and my background and what I'm truly passionate about just by way of whatever I get involved in. I think that's one of the things of being a small business owner, is you get to pick what you're involved in. And with that, I've been very intentional with the things that I create, the things that I get involved in, my conversations. So I think my story is evolving, and it's ever evolving, and every day there's a new piece to it that being a small business owner, being an entrepreneur, I'm able to walk in a room and know that, another piece is added. And if I show up and be my true authentic self, then it's going to show, and I'll light the room up just by being myself. I don't know if that answers the question, but I feel like that's how I've unapologetically told my story. Now, if I'm asked to tell my story, then I tell people, I'm from here, this is what I've been through. But I'm very honest, and I'm very authentic with my story. With this Virginians for Lovers collaboration, I'll throw that in. It was one of those things that I'm a big advocate of writing things down. And so all around my apartment, even right here, it's pen to paper. I thoroughly believe in writing things down. I believe that writing things down manifests it in a way that it has to work. And I think any small business owner probably believes that, writing it down. I carry a planner everywhere I go. So with different collaborations and things that have happened for me and people, even the people around me, it started with writing things down. And I wrote down this goal of collaborating with a medium-sized brand, and just, again, being my true authentic self, and not changing mission, not mission drifting or chasing after something just because it looked good at the time, and maybe bring me more followers or maybe bring me more money. I stayed mission aligned to what I knew that I was, put on this earth to do. And I was able to gain a partnership with the Virginia Tourism Corporation, which is Virginia's for Lovers. And they came to me to highlight, Black travel, promote Black travel. And if anybody knows me, that's, right up my alley. I travel, I love traveling. So I think to anybody that's on here, that's just an inspiration. That's just a inspiring message from me to you, and anybody that's listening. Just stay your true authentic self, understanding what your purpose is. Don't change that for anybody. Whenever you show up in that room, you show up as your true authentic self, and don't change for anyone. Because people can feel that. People can feel when you're real, and they can touch you and they can feel you and they can feel your energy. Remember your roots. Remember why you wanted to do the business. Always remember your why, and that story will tell itself. You won't have to tell it. It'll come off in when you step in the room. So I hope that answers the question. But
Yes, it does. Thank you so much for sharing, and congratulations.
thank you.
All right, this is the last question for the evening, and then we're going to wrap it up. But I want each of you to answer this. The question is, what words of wisdom would you share to an aspiring minority business owner? What would those words be? All right, we're going to start off with Miss Cat.
So there's a lot of words I think I'd like to say, but one of the quotes I've recently read, and it kind of just popped up before this webinar, so I thought I'd write it down. It was, everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And I think that popped up like right at the most perfect time right before this, because if there's anything that I've wanted to share with other entrepreneurs is to feel empowered to speak with authority, to feel empowered to tell their story, to go after what they think is scary, even if that's what they mostly want, to go after it and just do it. Prepare yourself. Obviously, there's steps to do this, just don't but you prepare yourself, you leverage your ecosystem, you leverage your partners and resources, and really is take the chance. I mean, do you want to go to bed every night thinking I should have, or I am doing it? So that right there is what I would say to any business owner or any aspiring minority business owner. Know what your external barriers are, know what your internal barriers are, prepare yourself and get going.
Thank you. Quincy, what about you?
I wish I had something as elegant as that, but what I would suggest to people is seek mentorship. A lot of, like I started being interested in business, and even, I was 20 years old shopping around a business plan in Chicago that went nowhere, but it started introducing me to some of the people who had come before me, who had gone into business and things of that nature. And then even when I came to Roanoke to open R&D as we know it with my brother, I was only 21. Like I by no means, like I had an idea of what I knew, which was, fine dining, hospitality, how to, have a guest first business and mentality. But there was a ton of things that I didn't know. And so, like I think people need to embrace what they don't know and ask for help, ask for knowledge. I've always been the type when I was cooking to, ask other chefs for information, spend a few extra hours learning techniques. And then the same thing on the business side, I have no shame going to people who have, come before me. It's like, hey, how do taxes work? Why do you market, this way? What's a realistic profit margin that I should shoot for my style of business, and so, if you can find one or preferably a couple of really good mentors, I think that will serve you very well in starting a new business and then kind of having someone to reach out to when inevitably, business problems arise.
Thank you so much. You're right. Mentorship can really help, us along the pathways to, like you all are doing right now, provide some best tips and lessons learned and different things like that. So thank you so much for sharing. Mr. Hisham, what about you?
I would say if you want to achieve, then stop asking. You need to work hard. You need to make sure that you really leave behind good deeds, that people always remember that this person have given so much to his community. I think we come from all parts of the world. However, we form this great city of Roanoke. The culture that we bring to it, the different habits, all together makes who we are, who we actually are. And that's why, I thought food is a language that everybody speaks. And by introducing a good food, I think you're speaking the language of everyone in Roanoke, regardless whether you speak the actual language or you don't. People can always appreciate what you do. And just do what you can and give as much as you can, because life is not only measured by how much money you have. It's always measured by your ethics and your principles and how much you give to your community. There are many people who sometimes go to bed without food. If you can give them food, basically they are going to remember you for the rest of their life. I've learned some from my mother. She always told me that if you can give someone, give it. If you have one loaf of bread and you see someone who's hungry, give him half. The other half will be enough for you to sleep without being hungry. So I believe, this is the philosophy I have in life. Money will come at one point. However, if you can make someone happy, I think that would last with you forever.
Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Xavier, what are your words of wisdom?
So many I want to say. I think just don't quit. I know it seems cliche, but this is the road less traveled, and it's definitely not for everybody, and it will make you or break you. But if you decide this is the road you want to take, just don't quit. Because usually, like she said, like Kat said, you have no idea what's on the other side of fear. So usually those uncomfortable moments come, and that's what breaks people, and they never get to see what could have been. And so when those uncomfortable moments come, you just have to go through it. It's just like life. You have to go through it, and you will be amazed to see if you just press through and just don't stop what's out there for you. Everybody has a purpose. So getting to your purpose, nobody said getting to your purpose is going to be easy. So I would just say, for anybody that in anything, just don't stop, just press forward.
Great advice. Don't quit, don't stop, press forward. Thank you. Mr. Katesh, you're closing us up, and then we're going to kick it back over to Ms. Amanda. If you can share with us your final words of wisdom.
Yes, ma'am. I think all the points, it's great points, and we need all of them combined to make it successful. But one of the things that I like to talk about is set the right expectation. With minority business, a lot of time is what I hear from the upgrowing business owners, they said, it's not fair. It's not fair to us. The bank is not fair to us. The people's not fair to us. Customers not fair to us. But it's never going to be fair. So get that expectation ready. But at the same time, when you really look at the bigger picture, a lot of things are fair. and we need to look at that as a glass is half full to begin your process. And once you start successful, then educate people. That makes it easier for the next business owner. Involve in the boards, involve in the politics, involve in the community. Make sure the diversity is taken care of at the highest level, if you can, in different organizations. And because diversity does bring a lot of advantage and new ideas. So the word of wisdom is you must do business if you're cut out for it. Don't back out. And the idea of not doing business because it's not fair and you will not be successful, that is, I don't buy that. Like just he said, don't quit, just do it. Like advertise. I really believe just do it, but do it for right reasons. If you're doing just for the money, it's difficult to get it. You may get the margin, you will survive that. But to make a difference, end of the day, to make a change, you got to involve in a community. You need to give back. And I'm not only talking about giving money and food. That's a great thing that must happen. But to make a huge difference, you need to involve in the different boards, different organizations, and make your voice heard. It's sort of, after you being successful, you start making a difference at a bigger level to the whole community. And you start making changes that is permanent. And then your next brother or sister will be very helpful. So start doing business for a bigger picture. And that's my advice. And if anybody need help, this panel will be allowed to help. I ask all these panelists to do mentorship. I have a personal goal that I said that I need to have 33 families to be business owner, and I'm working on that. So I ask all the audience to reach out to us. We really want to help. I think that's for our opportunity to help you. So please don't fail to reach out to business owners. I think that's a great thing that you can do to ask another business owner how to do it.
Thank you so much, Kritesh. I really appreciate that. And you closing us up. Thank you to all of our panelists this evening. You all have provided great insight. And hopefully this has been an inspiration to existing and aspiring business owners. And hopefully it's also been educational for the stakeholders that have attended this evening. I'm now going to kick it back over to Amanda. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alicia, for hosting that for us and bringing everyone to the table tonight to have this conversation. I'm getting lots and lots of private messages from folks saying thank you, thank you, thank you for having the conversation, and everyone's enjoyed hearing from the entrepreneurs that are here with us tonight. So thank you. We appreciate your inspiration, your leadership, and your engagement in our community. And thank you for being a minority-owned business, making our communities livable. So thanks for sharing your story. We will be sharing links with everyone via email to these businesses so that you can check them out if you don't know about them already and have visited or done business with them. And I hope that you'll look for them on social media as well. To close out tonight, I just want to remind everyone that the Small Business Development Center is here to help you as a small business owner take care of business, so that you can get on with your big ideas. Okay, let us help you with all of the business stuff, from researching, planning, launching, managing your finances, getting funding, growing, and even exiting your business when the time is right. We've got the expertise and the resources and training to help you. So I hope you'll lean on us for that. Heather Faye is here tonight with our team member, and I'm going to ask her, you can see on the slide, to pop in for everyone in the chat our website address so that you all have that resource. We have a new website launching in a few weeks. I cannot wait for you to see it. We will actually have a whole section for minority-owned businesses, and we're excited for you to get that. And just follow us along on social, Instagram and Facebook at RRSBDC. We post lots and lots of stuff that you need to know as a small business owner. So check us out there. And I don't know about you, but I had such a great time listening tonight. And I know my whole team has, and the entrepreneurs that are here with us have been excited about it. So we're going to do this quarterly. We're going to hold some sort of conversation to move the needle and have these conversations on a quarterly basis. So if you've registered tonight, we will email you once we have that schedule in place. We know what months they're going to be, but we'll get those topics and schedule out to you as soon as we have that developed so that you can join us quarterly for this conversation. If you have ideas or you want to be involved in projects that we're working on that are happening in the community for minority-owned businesses, reach out to us and let us know. Heather, if you'll put both of our email addresses in chat for everyone. Heather is our program director. So if you're interested in like, hey, let me host a workshop, or let me, I want to be part of a panel, let Heather know. She would love to coordinate that with you. And then if you're a business that wants to pay it forward or sponsor some future work for or around minority-owned businesses, reach out to me. And my email address is over there in chat. I'd love to talk to you about that and share some of the things that are going on and how you could plug into the community. So thank you for being with us tonight. It's right at 8 o'clock. I'm so excited to end on time. Thanks everyone for being with us. Have an incredible evening, and hopefully we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.